This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen Stranger Than Paradise, another weird kinda, hipster sorta, comedy drama maybe movie from Jim Jarmusch. Made back in 1984, it follows Willie, his Hungarian cousin Eva, and Willie's friend Eddie in a three-part story, with each part set either in Brooklyn, New York, Cleveland, Ohio, and somewhere in Florida. Along the way, a whole lot of nothing happens as the laid-back characters seem to just drift through the landscapes, never actually making the most of anything around them. As you can guess, there really isn't much of a narrative or storyline going on here. It does start off with Eva staying with Willie for a while, but when the story does get to its second act, it kind of foregoes the stronger sense of a narrative. It's really more of a character piece, though even so there isn't too much in the way of character to examine. Arguably speaking, the focus is more on character action than development, even despite the lack of anything substantial actually happening. Stranger Than Paradise is essentially following its characters as they are living, without any real sense of progression or motivation other than to keep alive and out of trouble. It's not until they decide to travel away from their home city that they seem to show any signs of wanting to do more with their day. But even so, they inevitably end up treating their new dwellings with the same sort of minimalism and ennui as before. It's one part laziness and two parts comfort, especially in Willie's case as he shows some signs of wanting to push out beyond this comfort zone, but never actually having the drive to do so. It's a notion of his further divided by Eva, who wants to do more with her time than bet on races, and Eddie, who is reluctant to even be outside of New York for very long. The visual style of Stranger Than Paradise is the most effective means of getting across the stagnation and doldrum lives of the characters, and it's pretty apparent from the very first scene. The whole film is shot in long, almost completely static takes, with brief cuts to black before cutting to the next scene, highlighting both the uneventful nature of everybody's day-to-day lives, as well as the slowness within those moments where something of interest does actually happen. It's cemented further by the film's soundtrack, which is almost always empty of any actual music, outside of incidental environmental noises, or Eva's tape recorder and the lilting, drunken serenade of Screamin' Jay Hawkins, which moves just as unevenly and as slowly as the rest of the film. The use of black and white, while possibly more of a practical measure than anything, is both another illustration of the mundane world of the film and the final piece of the proverbial puzzle that is the three people who live in it, or something to that effect. The point is that Stranger Than Paradise is more or less a look at people for whom the most eventful thing in their lives can be driving to Florida. And yet, there is still a story to be found in whether they choose to escape this monotony or fall back into it. Stranger Than Paradise, Jim Jarmusch, 1984. 4 stars. I'd say to give it a try. You might want to grab a coffee first, but then again, I'm addicted to coffee now, so I could be projecting. Anyways, that's it from me. If you like this review, leave it a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. I'd say that I'd like to visit Cleveland or Florida now that I've seen this movie, but it makes a pretty convincing argument why I shouldn't. Or, well, it doesn't give me anything to look forward to if I got there anyways.